I want to welcome all of you to fifthwall's first ever climate summit at Blueprint. Thank you all for taking the time to be here. In the audience, I see the world's leading building and infrastructure owners and operators, top players in climate investment and entrepreneurship, influential media, and integral policymakers. Fifthwall would not be what it is, nor will this conference without all of you. So why now? Why did we launch this event now? And the answer may surprise you, because the answer for me is optimism. Make no mistake, we read the same alarming headlines that you do. This summer saw record heat waves across the United States and other severe weather events around the globe. Right here in Las Vegas, already one of the hottest cities in the country, we are seeing even hotter temperatures. It hit a startling 130 degrees Fahrenheit. From Las Vegas to New York to Paris to Singapore, we are seeing the impacts of climate change. For many, the past few years have marked the first time that they have actually experienced firsthand the dangers of a shifting climate. Experts from the United Nations have made it clear we need to reach net zero emissions globally by 2050. Climate change it's an existential issue. And it's an existential issue at a human scale. Like never before in human history has a fight been this consequential. And right now, we're getting a lot of indications, a lot of news that we might be losing that fight. But amidst all of that, there's actually some good news. So for the first time, we are seeing climate technology deployed at scale, moving us towards our goal of decarbonizing the global economy. Renewables are set to overtake coal just in the next 2 years. Today, electric vehicles are set to outsell their combustion engine predecessors within the next decade, and in some states, even sooner. But one critical thing has been missing, and that thing is a clear and precise focus on the single largest source of greenhouse gas emissions, and that is the built world. The built world is the biggest lever the world can turn on fighting a changing climate. And yet there has not been a substantial enough focus on it. Fifthwall is here to change that. That is why Fifthwall raised the largest pool of capital ever to decarbonize buildings and infrastructure. Fifthwall's $740 million climate strategy represents the first time that the largest owners and operators of real estate globally have come together in the same fund with the same strategy to invest into the climate technology that is required to dramatically reduce the industry's carbon footprint. There are other conferences that expressly focus on the policy as well as the technology challenges of decarbonizing massive industries, from transportation to agriculture to manufacturing. But this is the first time that all of you are here, coming together in one room to solve the other 40% of the problem, because that's what we're solving, 40% of the problem. And that problem is real estate. Because real estate is, and I would say has always been, the culprit that's been hiding in plain sight when it comes to climate change. The built world is responsible for 40% of global emissions. That is twice the size of the emissions of the entire transportation industry. Yet somehow, the real estate industry has skirted the spotlight in the climate change zeitgeist. Fifthwall aims to change that, and this conference is a first step towards doing so. Fifthwall believes that decarbonizing the built world is our single biggest opportunity to reach that 2050 net zero goal. The fight for net zero real estate is the single most important battle in a global intergenerational war against a changing climate. And the people in this room have the power to actually make that happen. So what should you expect from this conference? First, we hope that the Fifthwall Climate Summit becomes the collision point for the world's leading entrepreneurs, technologists, policymakers, thought leaders, and investors that want to shape this part of the energy transition dialogue. We want to make this conference the definitive event for anyone with the ambition of decarbonizing the global real estate industry. That is the purpose of why we're here. In that vein, you're going to hear from innovators and leaders who are responsible for our optimism around decarbonizing the built environment. Climate entrepreneurs at the front lines of innovation will share the most promising developments, making our buildings and infrastructure not only more efficient, but more resilient in the face of a changing climate. The world's most impactful real estate owners will discuss the financial advantages of converting to an energy-efficient, climate-conscious model while navigating evolving ESG standards and responding to tenant demands for spaces that facilitate a more sustainable way of living and doing business. Thought leaders and policymakers will describe how academic and public sectors will help accelerate this transition and how these new clean technologies are on track to revolutionize our lives and the entire global economy. All of these speakers are dedicated to solving the climate crisis, not through incremental shifts and not through performative measures, but through real changes in the single biggest lever we can turn in fighting climate change, the built world. The technology is here, the policy tailwinds are at our backs right now, and the economic opportunity is unprecedented and just staggeringly large. You are all in this room because of this exact issue. So that's what we're going to put on today. So with that, I want to welcome everyone to the first ever Fifth Wall Climate Summit at Blueprint, and let's get to work.